Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Behind the Weebs. This is episode 2 of our series, and it's basically a look at what goes on behind the scenes at SunnyCon Anime Expo. And today's topic is the big ideas that never made it. After running an event for over 7 years, we have pitched a lot of stupid, crazy, great, bad, every spectrum of weird ideas to make our convention a little bit better, maybe make it a little bit more unique. And today I'm going to talk about the ideas that never made it, but, maybe should have. Or the ones that, they shouldn't have went ahead and thank God they didn't. So first thing I want to get into, an idea that we had was big money cosplay contest. And I know you're saying like, oh, you've given away like £2,000 as first place prize, £1,000. You've got a cash pot prize of £2,000. Why are you saying big money cosplay? And I mean, the figures at the initial inception of the idea, and this was after SunnyCon 1, we decided we want to make our cosplay contest stand out from the rest. And we wanted to make it worthwhile for cosplayers. So we thought to ourselves, cosplayers, they spend a lot of money, they spend a lot of time. What if we provided a big money incentive for people to actually enter in and, maybe push them to make even better? Because £2,000, who doesn't want to win that for cosplaying? And going into it, we were very naive. This was our second year's cosplay contest. And we kind of hammered out some rules and says, it's got to be made, it's got to be premiered first at SunnyCon. And going forward, we initially wanted, though, a prize of £20,000 as our first prize. And it didn't work out because, second year of a convention itself, running in Sunderland, you're not going to drag in 20 grand of extra cash. There's no way we're going to do that. Maybe if we get to the sizes of 20 to 50,000 attendees a year, potentially the scope is there for this idea to go ahead. But for now, we've had to pull back on cosplay contest prizes because obviously Brexit's on the horizon, costs are going up, and we need to find different areas of the budget to kind of restructure it and take it forward and make it a little bit more manageable so that we can build on it in the future. But initially, the big idea was £10,000 to £20,000 cash pot prize for our cosplay contest. And, who knows? It might happen in the future, it might not. Let's see as we go forward. So for another thing that I'd like to touch on, for a big idea that didn't quite work out our way, was back at SunnyCon 2, we thought, we'd want 10 to maybe 20 guests per event. Obviously, that hasn't worked out quite how we wanted. It was just basically get all the Funimation on a jet and fly them all over, shut down anime in America for a week. And we look at shows in America, like the different conventions that run over there, and they pack their events out with guests. But the thing is, we live in the United Kingdom, so they don't have to pay thousands of pounds in flights to fly them over, and having 10 guests would be an absolute... Well, it'd probably bankrupt us if we were to do it. But going forward, we can look at it still. It's not dead in the water. We already bring over really good guests, and we're looking to bring over a lot more. It's all dependent on budget. If we can increase our attendance, if we can increase our revenues, if costs and Brexit work out well, different variables that could fall into place that would mean that we increase the amount of guests that come over. But for the foreseeable future, for now, we'll have to put it off for a bit. But like I say, this is just an idea that didn't work out. Another big idea which didn't quite work out for us was that we wanted a huge stadium concert. Now, this was when we first moved to the Newcastle Stadium as a venue back at SunnyCon 6, and we just looked around, and the potential at that venue was limitless. If only our budget was the same way. But we wanted to finish out SunnyCon maybe on the Saturday night or the Sunday night. Instead of having our usual party, we wanted to actually have 4 or 5 bands come on and do a proper concert. I think back then baby metal was big, so we wanted a proper baby metal concert at the stadium on the pitch, where you say the Ed Sheeran concerts and whatnot. We wanted that, but with J-pop or K-pop. Obviously it hasn't worked out because stadiums are effing expensive. and we, the pitch has a certain, with Premier League pitches, not many people would think about this, but the groundskeeper is very protective over the pitch. And with it being a Premier League stadium, it takes a lot of work and a lot of effort to keep it at the quality that's desired for a huge sporting event like a Premier League fixture. And so if we were to just have like a huge stage just dumped on there and have loads of people there, then we'd have to pay for that pitch to be resown and just regrown really. And for us, we want a huge concert. That's not off the table by any means, but it all depends on budget. It depends on if we can get the right kind of staging equipment, because the huge stadium concerts, they travel with everything in like wagons and whatnot. We'd have to hire everything out individually. So there was that too, but it's still there. The desire is still there to have a stadium concert, but it's if we can make the revenue and if we can get the logistics worked out. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll have one in about 2 to 3 years' time. So one of the last things that I'm going to touch on in this video, big ideas that didn't work out, was the 1-to-1 scale giant mech. Now, I've wanted this, and this is a personal thing. This is me. I have wanted a 1-to-1 scale mech since SunnyCon 1. A giant Gundam robot, or any kind of like Japanese mech. I just want a huge ass mech at SunnyCon. And it was bringing one over to Sunderland at first. And I did actually inquire. I sent an email to Bandai saying, look, what's the chances that we can borrow the one from Japan, ship it over? We'll probably apply for an art fund grant to ship all the pieces over. And it can be like a temporary attraction for over SunnyCon weekend. Obviously, I didn't get a response email, and I don't blame them whatsoever, because somebody writing in and saying, I want a giant mech, usually goes straight into the spam file. And as we've went on, the desire is still there to have one. And last year was the Great North Exhibition, or Great Exhibition of the North. And it was to showcase basically everything that's good in the North. And as a tie-in for SunnyCon, I actually put in a planning application to, I believe it was the Great North Exhibition Committee, saying, look, can I bring a giant mech, or can I have a giant mech built outside of St James's Park as one of the attractions? And we drew up some plans. We actually had it designed, and we were going to base it on a metro. And the Tiny Metro is obviously iconic to the Northeast, and just having it as like a giant transformer would have like a wide appeal. We assumed that it would attract people, and the application got turned down, unfortunately, which was a bit of a bummer, but it was to be expected, because it's something like niche and something new, and they have like a certain budget, and they'd have to justify us building a giant robot to advertise our convention or be an attraction for our event, even though we aren't really exclusively part of the exhibition itself. But the desire is still there. I want a 1-to-1 scale mech, and I want it in the Northeast. I can imagine it being a big attraction for people, but obviously you have to go to Bandai Namco and say, look, will I have planning permission? How much will this cost? And well, we'll start with small steps at first, but hopefully maybe in 5 to 10 years' time you'll see a SunnyCon with a giant mech in the entranceway. So we've touched on a few things, big ideas that didn't work. But there's a few ideas that didn't work that need honourable mentions, but not too much description. So I've got my list here, and I'll reel them off. So first off, we have a UK Miku concert, an official UK Miku concert. As you know, in SunnyCon 2 we had a fan-ran one, but we wanted a proper one. We're happy to say that there was one down in London, but that's London, it's too far from us. We want one up here in the Northeast. So if you're watching Crypto Media Futures, hit us up. Another thing that we wanted to do was break a world record. We had the SunnyCon world record attempt for Pokemon characters. Unfortunately, we fell a little bit short on that, but we'll be trying again in the future. Another idea for promotion and building links with the community was to get the Mayor of Sunderland to attend our event in cosplay, which would have been an interesting thing to see. Redecorating the whole of St James's Metro station was another thing that we wanted to do. This way, just deck it all out and make it an absolute hive of weebery for the weekend. Even maybe if the budget had helped, that we would actually get a whole Metro wrapped in a proper anime Sunny mascot kind of like wrap around it, and be known as the Weeb train. It still might be a possibility, but who knows. A cosplay football match on the pitch at St James's Park, maybe convention versus convention. As you know, we're at St James's Park. St James's Park do special tours on the roof of the stadium, and we thought, why can't we do cosplay photo shoots up on the roof at St James's Park? Obviously, the trend in Japan has been these days to see waifu weddings where you can marry a cardboard cutout of your waifu. We think, get a cardboard cutout of Sunny, put her in a wedding dress, and give out marriage certificates. Why not? Yeah, so to spice up our evening entertainment, we thought, why not get all of the male members of the SunnyCon committee to actually perform the full Monty? So running an anime event, obviously you're going to come up with lots of weird ideas along the way. We've just touched on a few other weirder ones, but that's tip of the iceberg stuff compared to what actually we have written on pieces of paper stashed away in piles in places. But going forward, some of these ideas may actually come to fruition, some may not. Depends on budget and, logistics and however everything goes. So this has been episode 2 of Behind the Weebs. Thank you for joining us and thanks for watching. We're always open to any suggestions for any weird ideas of your own. Just leave a comment below and don't forget to like and share and subscribe to our social medias. I've been Tucky. Thanks for being here. Goodbye.